Hi everyone, welcome back again to another day. This time, day 2 of another week of really new content that we're put together for you. This week, we're going back into basics. I know that we kicked off with Southeast Asia DeFi Week back in August, and then a few weeks later we did Public Blockchain Week. Those tend to be really heavy, but this time around, we're going to answer the questions of trading. Where do people buy and sell digital assets and cryptocurrencies? This is a frequently asked question that we get a lot, and there's still a lot of uncertain. It seems that there's still a lot of confusion. Hence, that's why we created this entire week, Asia DAX Week, where we bring the people behind the digital asset exchanges, so that you can hear from them and learn about their stories. Right now it is 8:05. I'm sorry for the short delay. We were waiting for Huobi to join us into the call. We are broadcasting live from the Asia Blockchain Center, which is in the skirts of Kuala Lumpur City. Asia Blockchain Center is a very ambitious project, quite new, but extremely huge, 12 stories high, 100,000 square foot in total of space. It is the largest center for blockchain developers, entrepreneurs, innovators to gather and use as a hub in Asia. So this week, yesterday we just covered the first day, and we had really great guests. We had Aaron Tang from Luno, Malaysia, the largest cryptocurrency exchange in Malaysia. We got to hear very interesting insights from Aaron, as well as Top Jirayut from BitCup, the largest cryptocurrency and digital asset exchange from Thailand. I think some of the takeaways that we got is that regulated exchanges, they play a very important role into the digital asset space. Particularly, they work really hard to get a lot of compliance with the regulators done. This incurs additional costs, but all this is done so that to drive mainstream adoption, you need to make people feel safe. Thus, using regulated exchanges offer a level of consumer protection, okay, that is essential so that people, okay, who are new to the space can feel comfortable in basically trading. So we're going to continue on, okay, the conversation with the DAX founders today. You're going to know who they are very soon, and then tomorrow, okay, will be very interesting as well. Tomorrow on Wednesday, we're going to talk about digital asset issuance as well, okay. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow because we are also going to share a very very quick education on what are the different kinds of digital assets out there, because not all digital assets are the same. Not every coin or every token is a Bitcoin or is an Ether or is a compound token, etc., etc. Okay, after tomorrow, it's going to become really, really, really clear. So, but just note, okay, because tomorrow is Malaysia Day, the timing is different. Okay, it's brought forward to 4 to 5 p.m. Then we still have more content, okay, on Thursday and Friday, and I can't wait to share that with you. But for now, right, remember this, we need to say this disclaimer. It is very, very important. None of this content, okay, as exciting as this might be, and you might feel, inspired, or you might get some, aha moments throughout the entire session. But none of the content here should be treated as financial and investment advice. Okay, please use this as just an additional free supplementary resource to help you to understand, okay, the subject matter better. All right. The goals of why we do this events is to help more people to learn and understand about cryptocurrencies and digital assets by providing a safe place for you to be able to learn, okay, about cryptocurrencies and differentiate between what is real, what is fake, what is legit, what is full of non-legit, okay, so that you can really see where the value creation is happening in this space and capture the real opportunities. Also, the reason why we do this is so that it would help you to find, okay, opportunities in terms of remote work and alternative sources of income, particularly in a time which is very, very challenging right now. A lot of people are uh, losing their jobs, okay, their salaries are at risk, their businesses are getting disrupted. The one industry that is actually booming and hungry for new talent is the crypto slash blockchain slash DeFi industry. And by having you being able to become more knowledgeable in this subject matter, you would then have that opportunity to become a very attractive person in the blockchain space. Thus, projects, okay, companies will be very, very incentivized and motivated to meet you, okay, to either give you a job, okay, or make you a user, a fan, or a champion. So this is why we do, okay, the events today. So today is day 2. We're going to talk about digital asset exchanges. What is a DAX? What is a digital asset exchange? Very simply put, a digital asset exchange is a place where you can buy and sell digital assets. Like for cryptocurrencies is one of them, like Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, Ripple, etc., etc. Now, some of you have asked me the question, Jason, why is it okay that it's called digital asset exchange and not just a cryptocurrency exchange? The reason for that, okay, we will learn tomorrow, because digital assets is much more broader, okay, than that. We are actually seeing a lot of emerging different use cases, okay, of these digital assets. It's really, really cool, okay. So an example of a digital asset exchange, if you're from the Philippines, okay, the largest cryptocurrency exchange in terms of trading volumes, in terms of liquidity, is PDAX. And they have a really, really cool interface, sleek, okay, clean, and they offer many pairs, okay. I could say that more pairs than Malaysia, for people to uh, trade, okay, in the Philippine pesos with the cryptocurrency of their choice. And also, okay, based in Singapore, okay, we have Huobi. Huobi is a crypto to crypto exchange. A crypto to crypto exchange is built, okay, more for crypto natives. So if you're already, okay, familiar with crypto, um, Huobi offers a staggering amount of a very very good liquidity and more than 284 pairs of assets. And we have with us today uh, Nichelle Gaba, the founder and CEO of PDAX, as well as Edward Chen, who will be joining us shortly. But let's say hi to Nichelle first. Hi, Nichelle. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Hi, Jason. Thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
So, first and foremost, thank you for coming on to the show. And I think the first question, that we like to ask you is how are you? Okay, how has 2020 been for you? It has been a crazy, crazy year. We had the coronavirus, we had, the Dow Jones. Okay, we have DeFi. Tell me, how is 2020 so far for PDAX?
Well, 2020 has been a wild ride, to say the least. You're right. Like the virus had a lot of very bad impact on the Philippine market in particular, and that's because a lot of Filipinos rely on income from overseas workers. And so, because of the pandemic and the various lockdowns, a lot of them have gotten laid off, and that really put a dent on optimistic hopes to start the year. In terms of crypto trading or PDAX itself, I think we did receive a lot of new users. I think we grew about 5 times since the start of the year. And that was largely because more people are at home, more people are looking for new ways to earn money, or more people are bored also, and then only had the time to just or look into Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies very recently. Yeah, so it's been a wild ride. And I heard you mention earlier that you guys will be looking into digital assets tomorrow. Because of the coronavirus, there has been a lot of traction there as well, in terms of adopting security tokens. So a wild ride for sure.
So, can you give a very quick, background as to the history of PDAX? How long has PDAX been around? Okay, when did the Philippines, regulate the space?
Sure. So the Philippine Central Bank started releasing rules on virtual currency exchanges. So that was the term before, virtual currency exchanges in 2017. I started PDAX towards the end of 2017. And it's pretty funny how I got involved. I wasn't planning to start a company, let alone start an exchange. I got into it because I started learning about cryptocurrencies and trading, and eventually it became a big interest of mine. And I thought starting an exchange in the Philippines would make a lot of sense.
Okay, so it's been 2 years. Okay, wait, no, it's not been 2 years. It's been 3 years. Okay, PDAX has been around. Um, how would you describe the cryptocurrency industry in the Philippines today compared to say 3 years ago?
It's a great question. I think 3 years ago there was still a lot of skepticism, right? And that's not uncommon, especially for emerging asset classes. There's always a lot of doubt and anxiety, particularly in 2017, because that was also the year when Bitcoin climbed to more than $20,000 per Bitcoin. And there was a lot of skepticism about its value, and it followed and true enough, like it was followed by a pretty prolonged crash. So um, I think we've come a long way since 2017. I think if at a dinner table with friends, if you tell them, hey, you should buy Bitcoin, a lot of people will still laugh, and then like, hey, what the hell is Bitcoin? Like, I can't own it. What is it? But now people will listen, right? So that's a very big difference from 3 years ago.
Really? Wow. Okay. I don't talk about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, okay, among family and friends, even up to today.
Really? Yeah.
No, no. No, I kind of like given up, okay, because here's the story, okay. So 3 years ago, pretty much I came in the same time as well, okay, in 2017. And back then, I did not know anything about crypto. A lot of people, uh, a lot of people thought, okay, that Jason knows everything about crypto, okay, um, 3 years ago, but he actually knew nothing, okay, and but they knew, okay, that I was basically, working for this consulting firm, and I was in the industry, right? So back then, I remembered, okay, on a family table, right? Okay, I think it was February, just shortly after the crash, okay, in 2018, and this is really embarrassing. So what happened was this, okay? It was Chinese New Year. I remember now. It's basically a festival, local festival, very, very prominent one, okay, very, very huge one in Malaysia. And usually in this kind of festivals, okay, festivities, you meet your family, right? Like even distant uncles and aunties, okay, you never seen for a long time. So what do they usually ask? They'll ask, what have you done? What do you do right now, Jason? What do you do right now? And before I could even answer a question, my dad, okay, actually told, okay, responded, oh, my son, he's in Bitcoin. He scams people for a living now. And I was like,
Wow. Wow.
and
That's
it things
yeah.
have improved. Things has improved, but I think that right now it's still a long way to go. I think people the conversation. I'm pretty happy, okay, with what in terms of we have a community group in Malaysia. Okay, I'm pretty happy, okay, that the conversation is, you know uh, people are actually talking on a high level, okay. They understand not your keys, not your coins. They understand all that level, but there is still this like, um, if I were to walk out this room right now, okay, no, I think still, there isn't really a lot of interest, okay, in crypto. But it's interesting to hear, okay, that Philippines is different. It's very, very
Well,
interesting.
I mean, to your point, however, like, if to your point, like there's still a lot of scams out here. I think you're right. There's still, even though things have improved over the past 3 years, there's still a lot that can be done in terms of education. I think people have this notion still that if it's crypto, it's either I'm going to be a millionaire overnight or it's a scam. So education is important. So things like this for sure. And to echo something about what you said, like I when I first started PDAX, I was also just coming home from business school, and initially, my family was expecting that maybe I'd be working at a bank somewhere, a company. So, uh, me telling them that, hey, you know what, I'm gonna start a company. They're like, great. What kind of company? It's a cryptocurrency exchange. Like question marks were all over the dinner table as well, to be sure.
What about the state, okay, of the cryptocurrency adoption, and what are the attitudes, okay, of the regulators right now in the Philippines? How will you describe, okay, their attitudes, okay, to this very fast changing, okay, environment right now?
That's a great question. And that's because the Philippine regulators have clearly articulated what their concerns are. First is they want to support financial inclusion, right? They want to make financial services more accessible to people, and they see that technology is a way to do that. So top of mind, like they're very supportive. However, their primary concerns are consumer protection, right? They don't want people to get scammed and then complain about, being cheated out of their money. They're
Right.
concerned about cybersecurity, right? Because
Yeah.
they've heard of like hacks happening all the time. They want to make sure that clients are protected. And last is data privacy. So I think the good thing about the regulators in the Philippines is that they will not say no to anybody who wants to make financial services more accessible, right? But they will ask very real questions about how it can help the country, how it can help the market, and if cryptocurrencies don't have any use, then we would not be in the position today that we are, where there's actual economic activity happening in the realm of cryptocurrencies.
So, when I look at the what other countries are doing, like for example, BitCup, okay, and Indonesia, where Reckoning Cool, has like 30 pairs, okay, of cryptocurrencies. Uh, what must happen, okay, so that we can also, be able to get there as well?
Right. So I think the understanding of the general public has to improve, and
That's a call.
there's two practical reasons for that. Number one, if there's fewer people getting scammed, the regulators will not have as many concerns about just banning cryptocurrencies altogether, right? Or just not dealing with it at all, or not allowing it altogether. And then the second is that the faster we're able to understand cryptocurrencies, the faster we're able to appreciate any additional services or features that we can enjoy through cryptocurrencies. I mentioned earlier that the Philippines is a massive remittance country, and if not for, I guess, some understanding of cryptocurrencies, we won't be able to use Bitcoin or XRP to transmit money from one country
Right,
into the Philippines. Yeah.
right.
So
Um,
yeah, education is key.
so again, it's again scams. Okay, is what it's taints. Okay, the thing, because they are rampant. However, do you agree with me that it's not as rampant as before, or is it different? Okay, in both countries, because there is one scam, okay, which recently just basically disappeared. It was really, really rampant uh, before. Okay, I think it was called Bit Club Network. It was really, really huge in Malaysia. And then recently, okay, I think in November last year, the founders finally got arrested in the United States. Okay, and right now, they got charged and all that. And we still see some scams, okay, going on, some Ponzi's and whatnot, but it's not as as back in the day, as many as back in the day. What do you think? How is it the scenario like in the Philippines?
Hmm. It's a great question. I think you're right. It's probably not as bad because when you and I first came into the picture, there were also a lot of ICOs, right?
Yes.
And a lot of these ICOs, do not really plan to do anything with the proceeds that they got. So
Yeah.
yeah, right. Like that was very bad. So
It was
it's not
so
as bad as
confusing.
then.
It was so
Yeah.
confusing. I remember 2017. Okay, there was so many five-star restaurant dinners, and you know, and money was just basically flying about, and you really do not know who is basically legit and who is not. It was really, really confusing time. There's more.
Yeah,
There's
that's
more
right.
clarity now, but I think that this is a perfect way to segue into what's happening in the cryptocurrency space right now. DeFi, right? What are your thoughts, okay, on DeFi? Have you been, actively, how do I say, participating in the DeFi protocols and the DeFi scene?
So I've participated now more in crypto lending from a personal standpoint, not necessarily
Hmm.
PDAX.
Right.
But I think it's definitely a very exciting space, right? Because if you think about it, Today we have the technology to replace the financial services industry, or at least a lot of the services. We've replaced pretty much parts of the hotel industry, right, with Airbnb. Same with taxi companies. We've sort of replaced them with ride sharing. So we can do the same thing with financial services, except that there are what makes it very interesting and I guess more challenging is you run into a lot of issues. So my personal experience is I've gotten into interest earning contracts for cryptocurrency for my personal crypto holdings.
Mm-hmm.
um, I get paid, yes, but I would still be quite concerned because the the difference between the traditional financial industry and the this whole new emerging space is that if you lend money in the traditional financial industry, you expect that money to return to the economy, trying to create value, right? Like it's gonna be put into a business, it's gonna go into actual
Ah,
borrowing that creates value. However, right now what we're seeing in DeFi is you earn your rate, right? You earn some interest. However, what drives that is all secondary market activity, right? So ultimately somebody is subsidizing your gains. So maybe until such time that we use DeFi as a means to power the real economy, there's gonna be a bit of systemic risk.
right. For those who are watching in right now, okay, just a quick segue. DeFi is short for decentralized finance. Okay, it's a very, very hot, okay, emerging topic right now. It is extremely high risk. Okay, it's very, very exciting. It allows people to access new kinds of financial products without intermediaries. However, a lot of the things are very new, and because things are very new, okay, that anything can happen. We don't know
Mm,
until things actually happen. Okay, just quick rundown. You are relying, okay, on contracts, okay, self-automated contracts. There can be bugs, there can be unforeseen, okay, vulnerabilities, okay, exploits, okay, that only discovered later by a hacker and then can siphon out the money. There's like emerging products like insurance, okay, but we have not seen it actually happen. So it's rapidly developing. But what you pointed out, okay, is true. Okay, right now I think that is going through a craze, but which is basically, people are coming out new meme tokens, vegetable tokens, um, sashimi tokens, or etc. Okay, and you're right. Okay, it's becoming this kind of like game where if you're not careful, you become the yield. You know, you
right.
when you buy into it, you become the yield to somebody else. You know, um, but on the thing that I wanted to ask you, okay, is two things. Number one, do you see, okay, DeFi, because there's do you see DeFi as something that is disruptive, okay, to the centralized exchange, okay, business model, okay, in the near or medium term? Because people are already starting to make statements like because of Uniswap, because of uh, sushi swap and etc. Okay, that CFI or is dead.
uh,
What's your thoughts on that?
I think it remains to be seen, but obviously I'm running a centralized exchange, so I have my opinion. And here's what it is. Um, why is regulation important in this space? Regulation is important because, as you said earlier in your introduction, it gives that feeling of safety and comfort. And without that comfort level, you won't see massive scale coming into the space, right? So in many ways, uh, the fact that you have centralized exchanges also benefits potential entrants to the market, like institutions or banks or trust funds who need to enter into cryptocurrency. They will go through it through the centralized intermediaries. Now that said, uh, it comes with a trade-off, right? So centralized institutions tend to be more costly, and you lose a bit of privacy. And there's, I mean, trust is also a big thing these days. Today, trust doesn't mean trusted person. Today, trust means trust less, right? Like I trust the code, I trust the machine. So there are trade-offs in terms of cost, trust, and privacy between DeFi and CeFi. Do I think that DeFi will drive CeFi out? It'll be very difficult. And the reason for that is a lot of our laws today, and again, a lot of the regulatory framework today is based on CeFi, right? So, for example, if through a DAX, the Malaysian government can no longer enforce money laundering rules, then if that happens, I don't see the Malaysian government ever supporting DeFi because they need to be able to impose those rules. In other words, I told this to my friend. At the end of the day, someone has to be wearing the handcuffs, right? Like with DeFi, like you're not sure where the handcuffs go.
Yes, yes.
So that's a big concern, I think. Yeah.
So I think there's a couple of takeaways, okay, from what you shared, okay, on that. The first one being is that the decentralized exchanges, okay, yes, okay, DeFi is really, really cool in the sense that you're able to carry out functions, okay, openly, globally, permissionlessly. However, the role of the regulated exchange is really to scale and drive mainstream adoption because not everybody, okay, is like us, which basically would go and learn, okay, a new, how do I say, um, the new normal. Okay, people don't like
Right.
change, so you need to present something that's familiar to
That's
them.
right.
So
What is
uh,
your what about you? What do you
So I think, okay, that that at the end of the day is are you solving problems? Because that's I think that's the the more productive narrative. Are you solving problems? If, let's say, for example, the centralized exchange is not solving problems, then yes, okay, people have the. It's only natural, okay, that they will meet an untimely death. But I believe that centralized exchanges do play an important role. Okay, like for example, consumer protection, when people need, okay, that comfort, that level of comfort, when people need custody solutions. I know I am a fan of, okay, of non-custodian solutions. However, I do acknowledge that a lot of people, they want, okay, the benefits, okay, some of the benefits, but they not necessarily want, okay, a non-custodial solution. And that's where, okay, if say PDAX, okay, offers, okay, like a solution. I don't know, no, I'm not saying, but I'm just basically thinking out loud that if PDAX were to offer people, who say Bitcoin hodlers, people come to PDAX, they buy Bitcoin, all right, they don't trade. I don't know what the statistics are, how many people, how many percentage of people who actually buy Bitcoin from PDAX actually just are hodlers, right? But imagine, okay, that if it is a large amount, like 70%, right? You can, and if you have a DeFi option, okay, for them to earn additional yield on top of their Bitcoin and make their Bitcoin work for them, I think that that will become a very attractive proposition, okay, to give additional value. And they would love crypto more, they would spread the word more. And again, it helps, okay, with mainstream adoption. We just got to, encourage more stories, okay, of good experiences in crypto, more than just, again, coming back, scam. All right. Where's my money? Jason, where's my money? I get 6 messages a day. 6 messages a day. People saying that, okay, I've given my money to who and who, all right,
Mm.
and they promised me, okay, my 500 US dollars will become 2,000 US dollars in 3 hours, something like that. We just need to hear more good stories. And
You know, this
yeah.
reminds me of Jason. This reminds me of the early days of the internet, right? Like I don't know if it's the same in Malaysia, but in the Philippines, your parents will always tell you, "Hey, don't chat with whoever online that you don't know." But
Mm.
then the space over time cleaned itself up. Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a it's very very interesting. Uh, so on the topic of DeFi, uh, the thing, okay, that I'm interested to find out from you, okay, is like, is is DeFi something, okay, which in the Philippines is something that's catching on right now? Are people, in the crypto community aware, okay, about the
Uh,
DeFi movement?
Definitely, I would say yes. So a lot of uh, customer clients of the exchange obviously would buy cryptocurrency using their Philippine pesos to fund DeFi activities. So definitely, there's a lot of interest, but I think there's also a lot of uh, cautiousness, and that's because our SEC has been very vigilant and always giving out advisories against scams. One recent example is against Forsage. I don't know if you're familiar with
Yes.
Forsage, but the SEC really in the Philippines really hammered on uh, participating in Forsage. So yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of caution for sure. But I mean, to your point earlier, like I think there's you'll always have people who will try it out, right? Because for the sake of that chance that they get an enormous return, people will always try, and they'll call you when they lose money.
It is definitely something, okay, it's serious, okay, and it's something, it isn't something, okay, that we should just uh, close one eye against, okay. Times are challenging right now, and people are hungry for you, okay. Things
Right.
are not looking okay, and people are hungry, okay, for better you. I think that the most important thing, okay, is people need to open up their eyes a little bit more,
Right.
okay, and uh yeah, and this is what I try to do. I can only say for myself, okay. I would not put anything, okay, that I don't understand, okay.
Right.
I lost out in Wi-Fi. I lost out in Wi-Fi of all the pools, okay, in the curve pool, okay. I did not, okay, provide liquidity to the Y curve because I did not understand what it is. And even,
Right.
okay, when I saw the APY was going, I missed out on Wi-Fi. And now that I understand Wi-Fi, I'm like, ah, that's so sad. Okay, but
Yeah.
anyways, all right. Um,
I like what you
uh,
said there about like understanding how it works. And to be fair, a lot of the DeFi projects do go out of their way to explain how things work. So at a minimum, we should be reading the white paper or reading up on whatever they're doing with your stake. I think so. Just to share an observation, for example, Nexus Mutual, the DeFi insurance product, um, it to a certain level, it makes sense, right? Like how validators will vote on whether the contract should pay or not, and how they are all incentivized um, to vote or respond correctly. But then the thing is like you always I mean right now you always run into these scenarios where they have to go back to a central entity. So in the case of this insurance product, right? Like when you put in, let's say, $100 worth of ETH as your payment, um, only 5% of that goes into the loss pool. So what if that rule needs to be changed, right? So you still need a decision maker there. Um, but but to be honest, even in crypto trading itself, right? Like before before 2016, there weren't a lot of exchanges operating at scale either, right? So I don't know if you remember this, but about 3 or 4 years ago, you see a lot of mispricing across markets, right?
Mhm.
If you're familiar with the kimchi premium, prices in Korea were about 30 or 40% higher than in the US. Um,
Right.
uh, so we're seeing similar yield disparities, I think, in the DeFi space. But one would think that that will also go away as the space becomes more efficient.
Yes. One thing, okay, that I really, really like, okay, about DeFi is how quickly, okay, we can see things move. Um, because yeah, it's there's game theory, okay. This is something, okay, that I took from the Bankless Nation podcast, which is a great podcast, okay, for if you only have like 30 minutes to 40 minutes a day, okay, to catch up on DeFi related news, okay. I highly recommend that podcast, Bankless. They talked about the common game theory, about the common knowledge theory, which is basically, um, if everybody knew something works, then why doesn't everybody do it? Is because of the common knowledge game theory. It would take adoption doesn't happen instantly. It happens in curves. There's always a lag time, okay, between the people who know and the people who actually just realize it, and then it follows through. But because of what uh, the nature of DeFi, this time frame, okay, gets shortened like really, really a lot. Okay,
Mm.
and it's something really interesting because we have not. I don't think, okay, we as a human society have experienced this before, especially in the financial space.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's
That's a great observation. I think a uh, a large reason why uh, mat- uh, uh, maturation or like gestation is becoming so fast is because in the DeFi space, a lot of the behaviors can be codified or can be automated, right? It's not like in traditional markets or like back in the olden days, right? Like if this hot dog stand is selling at $10 and then that hot dog stand is selling for $1, you literally have to like walk back and forth
yeah.
to like get efficient. But with DeFi, like everything can be coded. In fact, I think with machine learning applications, you can have bots making it more efficient all by themselves.
The more that we talk about this, okay, the more I'm feeling bullish, okay, about how it can actually explode, because either it can become this really, really major thing, or it can really explode really, really terribly. It really, really either way. That's the nature of crypto, because uh, the yeah, the speed, okay, which, and we're just talking about what you talked about, the hot dog stand, okay, that is one chain, which means that you can, and I think that's why, okay, the yen protocol got so much traction, is because you are yield aggregating across different protocols within a single chain, right? um, but we are just talking about Ethereum, that's just one chain. And
Right.
then there's these other, sister, so Ethereum is like this big city,
Right.
right? And then there's all these satellite towns, okay, outside uh, the Manila metro, okay.
Yep.
I don't know what's around Manila metro, but there's all these satellite towns like Polkadot, like Cosmos, like EOS, Cardano. They're
Right.
all just looking in, and they're also building as well.
Yeah.
So it seems like, okay, it's really, really an exciting time to be in.
Right.
But coming back, okay, to DAXs, okay, I think the biggest takeaway that for those who are listening in is that um, if you are a person who believes, okay, that mainstream adoption is important, okay, we need to scale education and things like that. Support, okay, your local exchange. Support, give them some love, okay. They offer, okay, whenever, okay, that there's a beginner who is new to crypto, okay, a regulated exchange, okay, offers consumer protection, okay, and I think that that's a good thing, okay. Uh, so do support your local exchange. Now, we are at currently at 8. We have like 5 minutes left, okay, before the session over. I want to basically pry your thoughts, okay, more, okay, about PDAX right now. What's next, okay, for you guys? What does the next 6 months to 12 months? Um, I don't even dare to say the next 12 months, okay, because things move so fast, right? Why don't you give me the time frame? What are you looking forward to the most right now, and in what time frame?
Um, okay, so you're right on the time frame. 1 year is too long in crypto. So maybe the next 3 months.
Yeah.
So one exciting application of blockchain technology, and this has been a an ongoing trend globally, is digital securities. So um, obviously these are centralized solutions still, right? Because they still rely on an exchange, some intermediaries, but in more developed countries, digital securities do not create a lot of value, right? They don't solve a lot of problems. For example, in the US, you don't need to tokenize shares of company X, because shares of company X can trade so freely using any of the existing solutions. But in countries
Oh,
like the Philippines, um, tokenizing traditional securities can go a long way to drive inclusion. So last month, actually, a blockchain enhanced securities platform was launched by PDAX in partnership with the national government of the Philippines, to make government bonds more accessible to the public. So we're very excited about applications like this, because it showcases uh, technological applications in a very positive light. And if you can use similar technologies to improve borrowing and lending or insurance in the same way that you can showcase value in the security space, I think we have a bright future for everything in this space.
oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so what you're saying, okay, is that the thing that you're most excited about, okay, is the tokenization, okay, of real world assets, like starting with government bonds and making it accessible uh, more people, more people, okay, to basically trade, lend, borrow.
Right.
Um, uh, why government bonds?
That's a great question. In the Philippines, about 70% of the bond market are government issued debt. So we thought that we could achieve scale right away, or we could achieve um, uh, we could go with this very prominent use case and launch. Um, but to be honest, one can also tokenize real estate, gold, or other commodities. We just thought that government securities were both also something that solves a problem, and to share a bit more color, because of all this um, uh, coronavirus stimulus, the government does need to raise more money, and so the need was there, to issue bonds.
Okay, so what you're saying, okay, is that that government bonds, okay, was selected because it was seen as the lowest hanging fruit. That's basically what you're
Yep.
saying.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
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 yeah,
the current okay thing that you're looking forward to is expanding okay it across okay to different kinds of
right.
tokenization of real world assets. This is like super interesting because so far we've only seen okay the utility tokens, and we've seen
Right.
okay currencies, we've seen utility tokens. In DeFi we're seeing governance tokens. All this okay will be very clear tomorrow okay at 3 to 4 p.m, so tune in during then. Okay,
Right.
if you do not know what the differences are. Okay, but I am also looking forward okay to see more tokenized assets okay into the space. um so uh so this platform has already started, okay, for PDAX, or is it? What's that? Uh, who can participate in this? Who can participate in
Right.
this?
So it's called bonds.ph.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's open only to Filipinos.
Sure.
Eventually, hopefully, we can make it more accessible globally. But I think you should be able to see it on your uh, Google App Store and Play Store.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. So the last question, okay, I have for you, okay, before we conclude the session tonight is, what is one thing, okay, that the crypto industry needs right now? What is one thing?
Right. I guess we harped on it earlier, but scale, right?
Mm,
The reason I say this is okay, everything we're doing right now on the technology side are very good solutions, right? But until they're met with scale, they're really solutions looking for a problem. Right? It needs to find scale so that we can start solving real world problems. And it's not just because we want to solve problems, right? The more problems that we solve, the more mainstream our services get, and we can make a dent in a particular use case and um, drive more investment, drive more talent, drive more adoption in that space. Or we can just focus on random projects here and there. Some of them will blow up, or some smart contracts will get hacked because not enough resources was deployed to do penetration testing. So we need to start focusing on real world problems.
so what is missing? Okay, because we talked about education, but I think where we need to evolve, and I think we kind of like mentioned this yesterday with Aaron and Top as well. Okay, the same question was asked. Do you agree? Okay, that we need to, when we say education, we need to evolve beyond just not your keys, not your coins, okay, buying, hodling, trading. Okay, it needs to evolve beyond that. Okay. Uh, what do you think, okay, is missing, okay, so that people can actually see the real world application?
With regards to uh, education specifically, um, I've always thought that talent or people who are attracted to learning about blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies will come to the space when there's a lot of demand for it, right? Like I
Mm,
don't know if you know this, but like back in 2011, 2012, you don't have any former bankers running exchanges. You don't have any hedge fund professionals starting their own crypto funds. None, right? Everybody in the space were technology enthusiasts who were, very passionate about the technology itself. But because there's more investment now in that emerging ecosystem, you're starting to attract talent. And I think over time, we're going to see more uh, talented developers, entrepreneurs who will all contribute to growing the ecosystem and solving a real problem. Now, one thing I would note also is that uh, this is probably unique to our industry, because our industry benefited from Bitcoin, which was a huge bang. but also became quite controversial. But this is unique to our industry. We tend to be a very technology-led industry, which is not bad, right? But what we need to be is more of a market-led industry, or a demand-led industry, like the others, right? Like it wasn't technology that's really pushing innovation, right? It was demand ushering in new innovation to solve problems. So it's a mindset shift also that probably needs to take place.
Okay. All right. So with that, okay, thank you so much. Okay. I think the time is up. I think we've gone past, okay, 9 p.m. Nisha, I had fun, okay, having this conversation with you. I hope the audience, okay, you have gained value and you enjoyed the session with Nisha as well. Thank you so much, okay, for spending your 1 hour evening with us today.
Thank you so much for inviting, Jason. And I also want to thank the audience for tuning in. If you are interested in this space, please do check it out a bit more. It will prove to be a very promising space in the years to come. So, yeah, thank you for joining us.
All right. Okay. So, good night, everyone. Okay, and do remember, okay, that tomorrow, okay, it's the time. Okay, is 3 to 4 p.m. Sorry, 4 to 5 p.m. Okay, GMT +8. Okay, that's Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines time. Okay, where we'll be talking about digital asset issuance. All right, the future, where we are right now, where we were, where we are right now, and where we are going. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.